Today I'm going to be providing you a really beast Indomitable build. This is a really nice speedrun Malice, speedrun Heresy, playable on high density Heresy and Damnation. Now, it is more ideal for speedrunning Malice and Heresy than Damnation. I do have a couple other builds that I do like better for Damnation, but it's still playable on it. Anyway, let's get into the build. So we're going to be starting with the extra damage to the Bulwarks, Crushers, Plague Ogrins, and the extra damage reduction against this. Just want to note this is not a boss killer build. This is a crowd control, very tanky, stay up and get revives, wreck the board build. So we're going to be taking Smash 'em, but Smash 'em really only has two purposes. One, until you get the roll on your cleaver, if you don't happen to have it, when you do get the boss and you need to aggro the boss. And even though we can't really solo the boss in damage and take it out real quick, we can tank damage and we can keep aggroing that boss so our zealot or our veteran can get behind it and kill it easily. So next we're going to be taking the extra toughness. We're going to be taking extra toughness replenished in coherency. We're going to be taking extra toughness here. Now our frag bomb is really our oh shit bomb. We're only throwing it if we have a grenade quick pickup where we can have a free grenade and nobody's picking that up. When we need to get a revive, when we have a whole horde plus one or two bosses, that's when you throw your frag bomb. Your frag bomb is really your oh shit moment because it will clear the board. Next, we have Soften Them Up for extra damage. And that's also for our team. So when we're spamming our light attacks, or if you're spamming the heavy attack on the boss, if it's a Plague Ogryn, depending on what you have, we're giving our team 15% extra bonus, also giving that to ourselves on everything we hit. Obviously, because it's an Indomitable build, we're taking Indomitable. Then we're taking it down to Bleed. Now, there's a huge thing with Indomitable. If you're going to play this build, the one thing you need to learn the most is when you charge, you do not need to charge the full distance of the charge. Hitting back on the analog will stop your charge and let you immediately start putting in work at that position. If you always charge the full distance of your charge, you're going to end up where you get in a position that is really bad, not ideal for taking out what you were trying to take out, and probably get trapped or sniped a lot of times because you're just going into some random position instead of the position that you ideally wanted to end up. Sometimes you are just charging through an insanely large mob. Many times you are not. Very good to charge to the point of a revive as well. Charge in, knock everybody down, immediately hit revive, and you can revive them. They will get up about the same time as the enemies get up, and then you can both take out the remaining enemies as they're bleeding. So this actually is a really good ability once you get the hang of it. So next we're going to be taking 5% rendering. If you don't know what rendering is actually huge, and we're going to be taking more rendering too. We're going to have 20% rendering. Next, we're going to be taking the Stay Close Aura because it is by far the best aura to take. On the left, we have Heavy Hitter, which only really benefits the Zealot on the rare occasion or a Shield Ogryn. And on the right, that really only benefits the Veteran and a Heavy Stubber Ogre. The middle one, Stay Close, benefits us all. Personally, we're going to end up with 90% faster regen rate on our toughness and be getting 95% more toughness per second. Next, we're going to be taking this right here. When we charge, we actually kind of need our team to get 20% movement speed just on the slightest chance that we do get trapped up to at the end. We're giving them good bonuses. We're giving them 20% movement speed. We're giving ourselves 20% movement speed. We're giving them immune to stuns and suppressions, and we're giving that to ourselves. Keep in mind, that 20% stacks with this 25%. We're actually getting 45% movement speed for 5 seconds after we use our ability. That's when it really comes in clutch in knowing when to end your ability, because then for 5 seconds you can just run around. If you need to press something too, you can take out the one dude really quickly where you stop the charge, and then you got like 3 seconds to go rush the next dude. So that 45 movement speed actually comes in a really clutch a lot of times. Now, for speed running, you might not need the Attention Seeker. Attention Seeker is more for high density Heresy, even just Heresy and general Damnation. This is actually really big when you get like the mobs. You can just quickly push a couple of mobs, push Rangers. Next, we're going to be taking Bruiser. Our charge is not to be underestimated. Like, you want to strategically use it, but you want it up as much as possible. Yes, 20% damage, and you're constantly getting hit with the slightest melee is really nice. What's more important is having our charge up as many times as possible. And don't just, for the most part, be spamming it. I mean, if you're speedrunning Malice, I mean, you could probably, a lot of times, just charge to close the gap. But for the most part, you really want to keep that up, and you really want to use it strategically. Use it when you need to use it for the most part, or you can do a lot of damage. Or then when you need to use it, you're just simply not going to have it up and you're going to have to wait a couple seconds. Next, we're going to be taking Won't Give In, and this is actually really huge as well. A lot of times, shit happens. Sometimes you're playing quick play and the players aren't as good, and you'll get like 2 players down, 3 players down. So you only get 2 players down. Well, that's 40% damage resistance. Plus Feel No Pain. Now you're up to 65% damage resistance. This build alone has 3 different toughness resistance. You're basically invincible if you only even have 2 people down. Moving on. Next, we're going to be taking the 5 melee damage over here, and we're going to be taking the damage resistance per bleeding enemy in melee range. This build is actually incredible when paired with a Fury Zealot. Now, not only do we get our damage resistance after we charge, if we charge through a huge mob, we're basically invincible for 6 seconds, short of getting trapped or sniped or getting a bomber on us. As far as melee damage goes, we're basically invincible to that and guns for 6 seconds. Playing with a Fury Zealot, you know, they bleed everything. So even though they're bleeding for only a short time before they kill most stuff, it still keeps boosting our damage resistance up. So it does pair really nice with a Fury Zealot. Next, we're going to be taking that 15% rendering for 10 seconds on elite kill. Biggest note here is that it's 10 seconds. We're constantly killing elites with this build. So basically, anytime you got enemies, you're getting that 15% bonus. And keep in mind, we got that 5% bonus from the perk earlier. So we're getting 20% rendering with this build. And then we're just taking that toughness over there. So that's a total of 30% toughness negation in this build. And for the loadout, because it's a speed run build, it's going to be the Bull Butcher MK3 Cleaver. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, why are you running Momentum and Confidence Strike? And if you want, feel free to run Savage Sweep. Like, you can go run the offense on it, that's fine. But the way I look at this build is it's a straight tank build. And when I do happen to catch the rare sniper bullet that comes out of nowhere, I want to get back to my 200 toughness as quick as possible. Lastly, really quickly, because I do want to get this on TikTok as well, you're going to be running the kickback with Maniac and Black Armor, Surgical, and your final one is either Full Bore or Blaze Away. Personally, I think Blaze Away is better for your Curios. You'll either be running 2 toughness or 2 health. Max health, max toughness, max regen on toughness for all of them. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, share. It helps others find the video. I hope this helped.